Nostrdam is powered by Albi, Yakihona, and NextBlock.
What's your name? How long are you in Nostr and what you generally do in Nostr? Short, one sentences each. Sure. Starting with you, yes.
Hi. It's good. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Sean. I'm from Yakihon. We are building a decentralized social media based on Nostr, almost 2.5 years, and we are aiming to ensure everyone can open their voice and assets. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tanya, for everybody who wasn't there earlier. So, I'm very new to Nostr. Joined recently the cult, how I call it, so like 3 months ago. And I'm not a developer or a tech person, so I'm an event manager and a book writer and try to get everybody kind of onboarded here.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mandana. I do the Flirting with Bitcoin podcast with Ian, my husband, where he's for the past 3 years been teaching me about Bitcoin, natural progression into Nostr. I've been on Nostr for like a year. But yeah, I'm one of the founders of NextBlock. And in my day job, I do policy writing and risk management. So not in tech at all.
All right, so let's think that, this is not an interview discussion, but I think the good question that we could start it with, where do you see Nostr in 5 years? But let's not sell marketing jargon that will be great, everybody will use, apps will be decentralized, etc. Where do you think, what's realistically going to happen in 5 years with Nostr? In 5 years in the future, yes, we need to figure out the path to mass adoption. Probably it will not happen in 5 years.
I suppose the more users to onboard, to join to the Nostr ecosystem. For now, I don't know. I think Nostr is the game changer about the centralized media industry. But we still have a very, very early stage. So I'm not sure. We just must focus on what we are building, what we are doing now. So I can't to answer the next 5 years.
Yeah, but you think we'll be on a steady growth? Like, I don't know, now there is like 40,000. I only can use stats Nostrdam. I don't know what is their other reliable source of this app.
50,000, yes.
Yeah, 50,000 weekly active users. It's not much, right? It's still less than Blue Sky.
Yeah.
So do you think we will what will be this path looking like in the future, do you think? It will be steady, slow growth, or some black swan event happens and I know they shut down Facebook and we will jump in terms of numbers of users, critically? Are we even able to sustain it? If you guys could.
Yeah, I'd love to answer that question. I think we need to think about authoritarian governments. I think a lot of us don't live in countries with authoritarian governments or openly transparent authoritarian governments, but I think if there is an application, which I do hope NextBlock is an app that's easy for people to get on. They don't need to be technical. They enjoy the experience. I mean, I think of the selling point for NextBlock to be more of it's a rehab to get out of the addiction machine and to really learn what these applications are doing to you. But at the same time, it's going to allow free speech in countries where you just do not have that opportunity at all. And I think about specific things happening around the world right now, access to information, all of that happening right now, and those people just don't know what Nostr is, and they are too busy to learn it. I have so many friends who are journalists, award-winning journalists who I cannot get an hour of their time to explain to them what Nostr is. But once those people finally find out, but people who are trying to organize a revolution in an authoritarian state, I think that's when Nostr will explode. I really see that happening. Oh, you go. No,
it's not going to happen.
Well, I don't. It is public, but the public is not the problem. It's the spread of the information, and then it's the pushing of the. I mean, there's so much propaganda. I live in the United States. It is a propaganda machine. Everything that is thrown at us, you cannot. experience social media during the week of the Super Bowl, even if you don't watch football, even if you don't follow any account that's posting on it, you know it's the Super Bowl. You know it's every single mass event that they want the public to be distracted by. In America, the social media algorithms are pushing to distract us from what's really going on. We're at war in how many countries in America? You don't see any of that as an American on social media. Instagram actually made a default option that they do not show you political content unless you opt into it now on Instagram. 3 months before the US general elections began. So, I mean, this is the reality that we're living in. So when we talk about freedom tech, I know like NextBlock is not necessarily freedom tech. We're gonna manipulate a lot of what you can see, but it is still a place where people can post whatever they want if they find each other and they find communities. I think we need to make it easy for the people that are very busy and think, like Ian was saying, they think TikTok is their only option. In America, because the American companies don't control it, you're able to push through ideas through TikTok.
But I guess we have countries with more control of speech and control of media, and we don't see popularity of their necessarily higher.
You see Telegram being popular, though. They think Telegram is their best option right now, or they thought Telegram was their best option because it was a very easy user experience. You just download and you're on it. That's what we need to do for the everyday person.
What do you think, Tanya? What will be the path to adoption? Through media, journalism, and freedom of speech, through technology, or?
Well, I think people need to have the urge in order to use Nostr. I mean, we just seen it in Brazil. Like, Twitter got just banned, and like people just don't know that there is Nostr. So I have a lot of Brazilian friends, and they do have problems like to communicate. And then I introduced them, okay, do you know Nostr? And I was like, what is that? So, and then people start talking about it and explaining it to each other. And for some people, okay, maybe that's for now just a Twitter clone, but it's just a start, like, you know, but from my point of view, you need a personal reason now in order to use Nostr. I think there is a lot of noise right now. I think Nostr is growing. Maybe it's my perspective because I'm in that bubble, but I think like in a couple of years, I mean, the developers are working so hard to make improvements on their current clients. They really listen to the users. I think in 5 years, there's a lot of growth.
Sean, you must have some data. Sean is running this great client for long-form content called Yakihone. So you probably must have more market insight into this, right? How many people are actually spending time on your client, right?
Yes, I just think about your questions about the futures of the Nostr. My perspective is we need on board more Bitcoiner to Nostr.
Even more.
More.
I would hear people saying that we need non-Bitcoiners.
No, more. For now, I think currently it's only a small portion of the Bitcoiners use Nostr. Yes, lots of Bitcoiners talk about the Nostr, but I don't think they really use it.
We are not very social media people.
I can understand. Yes, I agree with you. But, you know, Bitcoin bring financial freedom to the people. And Bitcoin, because of the Bitcoin, there's a lot of freedom of speech movement supported by Bitcoin. I think it's a miracle. But the reality is most of the Bitcoiners just hold the Bitcoin and enjoy life. Just a small group of Bitcoiners, the activity recognize freedom of speech is important. You know, I give an example. Most of the Bitcoiners use the Twitter or YouTube, right? I can understand because X, Twitter, have more traffic or convenience. But think about it, it's very ridiculous. You live it in a centralized platform and build a very, very hard something decentralized. So the final result is all the data, we talk about the numbers belong to Elon Musk. This is reality. This is reality. You talk to me, yes, we think is a lot of Bitcoiner know Nostr, but see Nostr account and see the Twitter account. There's a lot of Bitcoiner maxi coders, the developers, the creators. Now even post every minute in Twitter, in YouTube, in TikTok. This is the reality. So I think if we talk about mass adopt, the first thing we must convince more the Bitcoiner adopt to Nostr.
Okay, interesting take. Do you have maybe anyone here who is not a Bitcoiner? Bravo. Thanks for coming. I mean, right, it's great that we have like variety of people. We almost. That's great.
You can.
Who doesn't consider.
To make.
But most of us are here Bitcoiners, right? But is there maybe someone here who maybe first discovered Nostr and then discovered Bitcoin?
I did.
So we have. So it's actually interesting case, right? And you say that you are in a bubble. And you say that you are in a bubble.
It's very unique because as like Sean was saying, like when I was in Riga, like I would say 90% of the people who've been to Nostriga are using Bitcoin, but at the Honey Badger, like I would say 1 to 2% actually use Nostr.
Oh, a bit more.
Well, because Nostriga was
20.
just.
You had two conferences, Nostr conference
so?
and Bitcoin conference.
I don't know, but
okay, but it's still 20 is not much, right?
It's not much,
yeah, okay.
And I think people like at Bitcoin conferences are the first people who will actually understand the technology behind.
So they would come maybe later. Like we could focus if we want to do this mass adoption. Maybe I don't know. Is there any voice from the audience maybe in this regard?
Many things to say, but like the Nostr protocol, it's not perfect, number one, but it is very easy to implement. Especially in the beginning, it was very easy to implement. So many Bitcoiners or like people that work with cryptography build it and like, oh, fun. But then you see maybe problems with it. So they go away and they start thinking again. Because you called for like, oh yeah, revolutionaries, let's go on Nostr. And that's a sure way to get killed because there's no built-in anonymity features other than that you can like pseudonymously make a wallet, but you better know what you're doing if you start posting on Nostr, because I can make a honeypot relay and I go like, this is the Iranian Revolution relay, just post here, and like 5 minutes later there's a SWAT team at your door and you disappear, right? So anonymity is much more important at this stage, and this is also why like Bitcoin, I kind of use it like fiat now if I want to be tracked, Like if I need to get investment and I want it KYC, because on Bitcoin it's traceable, whereas on Monero it's not. I think we really entered this stage where cryptocurrencies became like toys for people to get richer. It's harder to see the original message of it. Whereas with Nostr, it has this feeling, right? We have this vibe like, hey, we're a cult/community. But I think the anonymity part of it, that is somehow like underdeveloped and needs development. So it's much better to use Signal or even better like simplex chat and to have small groups that are not necessarily so public. And yeah, Nostr is for public information, but if you're going to spread revolutionary stuff, I hesitate on this.
The Green Revolution did happen on legacy social media though. And so revolutions do happen on social media right now, and it depends on what you're trying to revolt against. But it's already happened. And I think what happens in certain countries is they just shut off the internet. Or they'll go to that social media company and they'll tell them they have to censor this or they have to shut off those accounts so this is already happening. I think this is simply a better option. I get censored all the time on social media just because of who I am. All the time.
Yeah, same.
All the time.
Same.
And so if I could go somewhere that's not censoring me, is also not like a shitstorm every time I'm scrolling, and people who want to see my stuff actually see my stuff. I think if we actually improve the experience, it's not going to be perfect.
No, I definitely agree.
But I do think that there are going to be groups of people, and there's going to be groups of people in countries that are going to be able to utilize this, and it's going to be stronger and more effective than, say, Facebook was for the Green Revolution.
100% agree. I just wanted to make a distinction between freedom of speech, which is something that works for US citizens in the US.
Does it?
Sort of.
Does it?
Sort of.
It's not. We don't have
like
freedom
we
of
just had
speech.
Julian Assange come back out of like some horrible shit.
Yeah.
So as a European, there's no longer freedom of speech because if I'm too free about it, somebody's gonna come and extradite me.
Yes, absolutely.
So like I just wanted to.
I agree. I don't truly believe that freedom is real. I think it's like a carrot that they dangle in front of us. And Americans, they tell Americans that they're free. They're not. There's a million things that we cannot do. I think that's true in every country, but I think that it's just sold to us a different way depending on it's the marketing. It's the marketing that they use. And I think if you want to be a maxi about the technology you use, go for it. You might get the maxis to use it, but if you want the masses to use it, the masses are 100% okay with being manipulated and controlled and censored. So what I hope we do through NextBlock is teach them what they've been going through, put them through the rehab of like, no, you don't need all of this. You just be on your phone for maybe 20 minutes and then go back to your regular day. But the other piece of it is for them to learn how much things cost and to not think that everything should be free. And so one of the things is if you're a content creator, you're going to have to pay to post long videos and things like that. Like there's going to be a cost associated. And if you're a good content creator, you'll get zapped, so it'll pay for it. But if you're not a good content creator, maybe you shouldn't be churning out 3 videos a day to feed an algorithm, which is what a lot of people are doing on these other apps. When I say unpaid labor, this is unpaid labor that they're sourcing. So yeah, I think we give them a better experience. You have it easy to be onboarded. It's fun. Again, like TikTok is what I'm thinking, just like videos, because that's what people like seeing. But making it clear to them that this isn't free. This is how it's been paid for before. This is how it'll be paid for now. And we all have to play our part. Yeah, if you hop into someone else's neighborhood, they spent a long, it's like how long did you used to spend making burn a CD for yourself, right? Like that was work that you did to then give to someone else. This is the same thing. If you're proud of the neighborhood that you built, you should get paid for it. It shouldn't be this unpaid labor that somehow Ian and I make money off of. Why? We didn't do anything.
I just want to give some insight into the original question when you guys were talking about, which was, do I find that it's mostly made up of Bitcoiners from like Bitcoin Twitter or something? So I was on Nostr when there's like 30 people on it, and I've been on it basically ever since then. So I have a unique perspective on like the types of people who joined and the overlapping groups. I was deeply entrenched in Bitcoin Twitter I've been deeply entrenched in Twitter since like 2008. I was on there very early. But I find there's very little overlap between the people on Bitcoin Twitter and people on Nostr. A lot of the people who come to Nostr, honestly, large majority of them are not Bitcoiners, and they just became orange pilled. There's like so many examples, like Eliza, Vanessa, my partner. There's so many more stories of people who joined Nostr and got orange pilled. Like even like Ethereum people who joined and they're like, oh, I didn't know Bitcoin was so fast. I'm like, yeah, they're using Lightning. I know. So I just want to make that very clear. Is like there's still the majority of like Bitcoin Twitter Bitcoiners are really not on Nostr, and I think that's just a very big misconception that there's like a lot of Bitcoiners on Nostr. I don't think it's true.
I think there's because this topic is not talk about the first time. Most of the conference when we talk about Nostr, we talk about how to expand the users, something adoption. A common issue often discussed is we need killer apps. The whole Nostr ecosystem in the killer apps. Well, I think killer apps is necessary and it's important, very important, but it's also the hardest thing to be achieved. We are still Demos working on it. We are working on it. And pretty much almost every RB, we are looking for the PMF. Yes, we are looking for the niche market. But this situation is not just to Nostr. I think all decentralized protocol to be facing that problem. I mean the killer apps. But think about it. I think Nostr is the first social protocol in human history to ensure true decentralized of the freedom of speech. So if we let the more Bitcoiners, they already have the financial freedom to adopt to Nostr, maybe it's a good start to Nostrdam. Yeah, that's my point. Yaki Hun, we try to cooperation with a lot of different partners, like high-level movie star, like a musician in Nashville. Just last week, I talked with a musician. She's very, very good at music. But it's very, very difficult to explain Nostr and why you need a freedom of speech, why you must need an account cannot be delayed. It's very, very hard to.
Maybe then we should actually hope for Captain State to come and pressure into decentralization. Maybe another Argentina country or some, I don't know, Mexico banning some TV or Wikipedia, and then people would be pressured into Nostr. But also, the other question on this side is, if such thing would happen, if we actually have quick adoption happening, are we ready for this? On terms of software, the killer apps that we have, and also infrastructure, relays, how long they can run for free, would people be ready to pay? Are we ready, and do we actually want this mass adoption to happen now? Or maybe it's still the time where we are still figuring out. It's time for building, it's very earlier than Bitcoin, and maybe if too many people come too early, maybe people would be disappointed. Maybe they would see Bitcoin bubble. Maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think in order to really use Nostr, you need now probably 5 different apps. It's starting with yes, you have your NSYNC and then you have your public key, but you have to store it somewhere safe, and then you need your password keeper, and these are all these kind of things people don't understand. And I was like, what you need? I cannot change my private key. I can change my password everywhere, so why do I need to keep it safe? So it's really, really difficult, and is for me still not very easy to explain that to someone else, rather than, well, social media does make me super, super sick, is super toxic. I can't choose my own algorithm, and then people say, what do you mean you can choose your own algorithm with Nostr? What does it mean? So I think right now these are so many barriers we are facing, and of course things does break down, and because it is very early. I mean, how many years? Is it 2? Maybe 2 or 3? I mean, that's super, super, super early. It's I'm in here for 3 months, and I don't think that we can adopt it right now, for the mass.
Can we? Yakihone, would Yakihone be ready for 1 million users next week?
So no. So that's the reason why we create a smart widget, that feature. A smart widget is interactive component that can run directly into your social nodes. So which means I think it's a little small game changer. It's completely changing how the user engage with the content. So you as a user, you can create a rich and dynamic experiences without no coding background. It's very earlier stage. It's a version 1, and I think some Nostr OG they don't like it. But this is what we are doing. We are thinking how to do the innovation to let the user to engage to the Nostr. But if we talk about the mass adopt, it's a lot adopt. I think just Tanya said it's very earlier stage. If you want your mom know Nostr, your mom come to Nostr, I think the easy way is teach him how to use Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying, right? So maybe all the Bitcoiner or most of the Bitcoiner, they know Nostr, they have senses of the freedom of speech. They know how to protect their assets should be protected. They want to join Nostr. And maybe we can talk about the movie star. We can talk about the sporter. We can talk the gamer or something. Yeah. But it's not meaning for now we don't onboarding them. No, it's the two things. But we can work together. But if we talk about the mass adopt, I think maybe more Bitcoiner come is the best way. Yeah.
Okay, what else do we need? I feel like we need maybe more educational guides. It's still hard to find a good Nostr guide.
That's why we do the South America.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Nostr booth.
Yes.
At Bitcoin events.
Yes, that's
the
education.
mission.
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
This
Mandana,
is
what
like where you have a lot of traffic. Like, just for people who don't know, we are doing a South American tour. So we go to 3 big countries end of this month. And we start in Buenos Aires and at La BitConf, and there are 10,000 people, and we like a lot of clients and a Nostr business chipped in together. It's a whole community raised funding, and we have the Nostr booth and also Nostr Day, so to explain people what Nostr is, what it's capable of, to onboard them, to show them, to have something physically in the hand, because like, of course, podcasts are great, workshops amazing, but like from my point of view, you really have to use Nostr in order to understand it, because like on these podcasts, it's like, yes, you talk about these things, but when you see it like physically and experience it, so this is what we try to achieve.
I guess in such panel, it's hard for anyone, right, decide what will be the future of Nostr, what we should do. I think every of us is doing what he does best, and that's also the beauty of Nostr. And probably in this chaos, we will find some direction, and the effect that will emerge, hopefully, we will be satisfied with. Mandana, what do you think would like if you would be Nostr CEO? And you could, yeah.
That's Derek Ross.
Ask Derek.
Yeah,
I was just saying,
I
ask
can't take
Derek.
Which direction would you show for mass adoption?
You know, I'll say I see it to be I completely agree. I see it to be very similar with Bitcoin adoption. So about 3 years ago, we started a podcast called Flirting with Bitcoin, solely for our friends and family. People would stop Ian at parties for like 2 hours trying to talk to them about Bitcoin. I was like, let's just do a podcast. We could not people would be like, I want to get Bitcoin. Can Ian just buy the Bitcoin for me and hold it? So many people would say that to us. And we would say, no, you need to learn responsibility. You need to understand this, yada, yada, yada. It wasn't until BitKey, if anyone's familiar with BitKey, you can hold it in your hand. So many people we've onboarded. So many people have Bitcoin now in our family. One of my aunts, she purchased BitKeys and Bitcoin for all of her grandchildren, had them come to our house, had Ian onboard them. It really is like, I think that needs to happen at first. And I think that's what's going on with Nostr. Even with Nostr, I downloaded it and I didn't understand it. And I want to say like 7 months later, I went back in. And then again, I needed Ian to walk me through. The other day, I didn't know what I was doing. I needed him to fix it. I think until we're out of that stage, it's going to need to be this more like human connection. But I still think that if we have the right business model that is funding all of this development, we do not have to rush. You're not going to have some VC coming and being like, I need it by 2 months from now because of, no, we build in this pace that we want, and we inform everyone, our citizens, people that are using Nostr apps. We're all in this together. This is powered by the people. And I think that people are smart. Look, you tech guys and girls are very, very smart. You're in your own little world, right? You guys are innovators, early adopters. I'm early majority. So our brains work differently, but we're just because I'm not technical doesn't mean that I can't get it and I'm not excited about a new idea and I don't want to be also a part of it. Like everything I've learned about Bitcoin is a couple of people made some like very significant decisions that changed the course of Bitcoin. And so it's exciting to not be a technical person that can do that for Nostr, hopefully. But I think it's there. I think we're closer than we are, but it's the money. If we figure out how to fund all of this stuff, that's real freedom. Because then we can build as slow as we want, no matter what anyone says.
Hard to have direction, but to wrap it up, if you guys, I will open Google Calendar and I will put your predictions, okay? In 5 years, what's gonna happen? And not make like wiki-waki, oh, we will be big. Maybe something, try to be specific somehow. It can be fun, it can be, try to be realistic and have this bet. So starting with you.
My prediction? Yes. I think either a big tech company or countries, tech companies will make we'll push people to the limits and they'll leave and they'll opt out and they'll join Nostr. I think that's how mass adoption will incrementally take place.
Again, how should they? What, in 2 sentences?
Authoritarian governments and companies will drive people out of legacy social media and into the Nostr protocol.
All right. So
You heard it here first.
Good. Tanya.
It's something personal. I will onboard my parents, and my dad hasn't even a credit card or a smartphone. So
Germans don't like credit cards, right?
they don't. They pay everything in cash. Like,
So you onboard your parents to credit card and Nostr. NFC card.
no credit card, just like Bitcoin.
NFC card. Sean?
My friends and my parents very proud of what I'm doing.
We'll be very proud in 5 years. All right, Sean, friends. All right, thank you, everyone. Please applause for our panelists.
Nostrdam is an initiative promoting the Nostr protocol by organizing one-day conferences alongside Bitcoin events, running booths, creating online content, and hosting meetups. Our goal is to connect developers and users to drive Nostr adoption.